Nigeria's growing population of over 200 million people has made the country an emerging consumer market with a growing e-commerce sector. Now, with the ever-increasing access to the internet, which has engendered the rise of online marketplaces, many Nigerian consumers are tilting towards online marketplaces as their preferred avenue for shopping. And the ease of buying goods with just a click, home delivery services, the ease of comparing prices and opportunity to shop round the clock, among others, have been identified by some Nigerian consumers as highlights of internet shopping. Now, one of the downsides of this, however, is that counterfeiters and circumventing online marketplaces and engaging in counterfeiting measures in various ways, including use of fake or stolen addresses and hacking legitimate user accounts to sell fake and non-existent products. Furthermore, experts say counterfeiters and counterfeits may have been intensified during COVID-19 lockdown as people stayed at home and shopped online more than ever before. Now, as Nigeria joins the rest of the world to commemorate this year's World Anti-Counterfeiting Day with the theme IP and design as essential factors of innovation and creativity, how might marketplaces develop their systems to identify counterfeit goods, I beg your pardon? Similarly, how can the consumers be protected against fake and counterfeit products while shopping online? These are some of the questions that my guests will do justice to, hopefully, in the course of the program, as we discuss the implications of counterfeiting in Nigeria. Welcome to Nigeria Today. I am Victor Azu. And joining me in the studio is Regina Nwumere. She is the Anti-Counterfeiting Collaboration Representative and Senior Associate at Aluko and Oyebode. Thank you for joining us, Regina.
Thank you.
And joining us on the program via Zoom is Desmond Adiola. He is the Chairman, Anti-Counterfeiting Collaboration, ACC Nigeria. Glad to have you on the program.
Thank you very much.
And also via Zoom is Shola Dosumu, Board Member, Anti-Counterfeiting Collaboration, ACC Nigeria. It's a pleasure to have you join us.
You, Kenneth.
Before we get to the nitty-gritty of today's topic, tell us about your organization, the Anti-Counterfeiting Collaboration, ACC Nigeria. And let me begin via Zoom from Zoom with Desmond.
Thank you very much, Victor, and good evening also to viewers. ACC, that's Anti-Counterfeiting Collaboration, is a group of stakeholders. I will call ourselves opposition, people who oppose counterfeits. So we're like, we were set up in October 2006. The aim is actually to bring brand owners, enforcement agencies, and interested parties together as an effective opposition against counterfeits, against infringers, against pirates in all forms. And, membership includes, the industry, that's FMCG. It includes law firms. It includes the Copyright Association. It includes producers, entertainers. So we all come together. So everyone is actually welcome in our group, except those who are counterfeiters themselves. They are the ones who have to run away from us. So, and we have been at it in terms of pushing the agenda towards safeguarding. We operate through advocacy, ensuring that we engage government, to make appropriate regulations and laws. We also engage in law enforcement agencies to help in capacity development, in giving them training so that they know what to do, they know how to look out for counterfeits, and we're able to also provide verification for them. So, and we encourage each other. So we want to come together as one because we are dealing with an underground economy that is very ruthless, and reckless also with people's health. All they want to do is to steal people's innovation. All they want to do is to steal people's intellectual property and use that to advantage. They don't care about consumers. So we try as much as possible to also engage consumers, to let them know really the harmful effect of counterfeits, and to also know how to avoid, if they encounter such, when they are making the right decisions in terms of what to do. So, and we encourage each other as well, sharing best practices, and always also seeing that we also do it effectively and efficiently. So that's what we are about, ACC.
Thank you very much indeed, Desmond, for that opening shot. But going by your name and, of course, the little, or the much, rather, that you have said about the ACC, I'm tempted to ask, who are your collaborators and what are the stakes? But let me take that with Shola.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kenneth. So as Desmond mentioned, membership is open to all interested parties, including brand owners. Brand owners, as we know, could be multinationals, could be individuals, could be right owners, could be musicians, could be artists, and people who own trademark. We also have as our members government agencies. So we have, for example, the Standards Organization of Nigeria, the Nigerian Customs Service, NAFDAC, and other government and other regulatory agencies as members of the ACC. Also, law enforcement agencies are members and are partners to the ACC. Anyone who's interested and involved in anti-counterfeiting, infringement, and piracy matters are enjoined to join the ACC. Brand owners, as you'll find in our meetings, especially brand owners and law firms who support brand owners, the largest chunk of our membership. But like I said earlier on, we also have very highly influential government agencies who network with us. Part of what we do is a lot of training. We drive a lot of awareness campaign. So we've had a lot of seminars, workshops for our judges to intimate them, inform them on the key aspects of intellectual property, and this will guide them effectively in dissemination of justice in the court systems. We also do training for our law enforcement officers. For example, we've just recently, last month, conducted a training for the Nigerian Customs Services, where we had the members of the customs sit with brand owners and law firms to educate them on various aspects of brand owners' intellectual property, things to look out for at the gate points of the country when these products are coming into the country. We also have had awareness campaigns by brand owners. For example, we had this program called Walk the Talk, where as brand owners, we went onto the streets, into the markets to inform and educate the general public of the menace of illicit trade of counterfeited products, the dangers they cause to the society, the harm it will cause to them, and what they should look out for. So we kind of have distinguishing features for legitimate products and what they should look out for counterfeit or fake products. All of this generally to inform the public and obviously to protect consumers.
Okay. Thank you very much, Shola, for your opening salvo. So we'll get back here in the studio with Regina. I'm sure she's been itching to say a thing or two. So let me ask, what has been the impact of counterfeiting, so far on IPs and the consumers?
That's the impact of the ACC on IP and
Counterfeiting now.
Yes.
What you are against?
Yes.
What has been the impact? Why it's become necessary to have the ACC, for instance?
Yes. Thank you very much. So it's important. The ACC is there to fight against counterfeiting, infringement, and piracy. So let me just go straight to the. I believe your question is about
how bad has counterfeiting been?
Yes, on consumers in Nigeria. Yeah. Yes. So one of the major aspects that counterfeiting has really affected the consumer, or potentially, is the health of the consumers. Because as a consumer, if you take, eat, or utilize any counterfeit item, it's potentially harmful to the human health. It's harmful to the user, generally, it's the economic aspect, the consumer who buys counterfeit products gets home disappointed because you don't get the quality of what you paid for. And at the long run, the society feels it because those counterfeiters don't pay tax. So the government feels the impact of counterfeiting and counterfeiters. They don't pay tax. Employment is reduced, which is part of the effect. These counterfeiters don't employ as much as the brand owners, the people that produce the genuine products, would usually employ. So these are many more.
All right. Thank you, Regina. But let's take a look at this year's theme, IP and design as essential factors of innovation and creativity. What would you say informed its choice, and what is it intended to achieve? Desmond, please.
Okay, let me first just build on what Regina has tried to say in terms of the impact. First, I would say that, you know, using the OECD report, which was recently published, counterfeits is found to have displaced economic activity. By the next 1 year, we will have had about $1.2 billion in terms of displacement of economic activity. And right now, total international trade in counterfeiting is already getting up to about Naira 91 billion. So by 2022, we should be hitting about Naira 91 billion. And also is to say it leads to unemployment, that is, it displaces people from jobs. So about 4.5 million people are expected to have lost their job by 2022 as well. So just quoting data like that, and in terms of its the economic value of counterfeiting itself, that's about $2.3 billion. So that's a lot of money that's been lost in terms of how it impacts us. And whatever it is that's impacting, you know, globally, you multiply that by 3 in terms of finding the factor for Nigeria. So as at the last time, it was 3.3% of global trade that's actually knocked off by counterfeits. So if you use that to project for Nigeria, we should be having about 9%, because right now we have lots of counterfeiting set up, you know, where they're actually manufacturing in Nigeria. So not just about importing from China, but manufacturing in Nigeria. Now, as to speak to this year's theme, which is really about IP and design, really as an essential factor for counterfeiting. See, we're gotten to a stage now where people have to innovate, and you want to innovate and spend money on R&D in an environment where you feel confident that your intellectual property is going to be protected. So you are not going to waste money over some people. You spend such huge sum of money on research and development, and then somebody just steals whatever it is that you are, you know, at a point in your process, somebody just steals it, adds nothing to it, nothing of value. It spends nothing. You are doing marketing, you are doing research, you come up with your innovation, and then somebody rushes to the market, making himself look like you, or trying to make himself deceiving people into thinking that he is what he is not. So those are the things. Now we need to encourage FDI, and we can only get FDI in, that's foreign direct investment, as well as even local investment into innovations, into production of things, into creativity. If people believe that whatever they do will be protected, not that somebody will steal it. So that's an essential part there, because any business that does not innovate will readily die. And we've seen example of, typewriters have gone, several other things. We saw those kind of big phones that we used to use in the past, that's gone now. In the past, somebody, there was a joke about, the kind of phone we used to use in the past cannot be stolen, but what you have now can be stolen. You know, so those things coming together, it's really about protecting them, also protecting your movement into new markets, segmenting into new markets, driving new values, being able to be competitive, being able to also be able to access funding. So all those things come into play. So without a good IPR, people don't even want to fund you, because the risk is always there. You are also afraid to even go and ask for money, because you don't know at what point you will lose this, because you are not protected. So any country that does not, find ways of developing an IPR policy that protects investment, that protects creativity, that country is not ready to grow. So, as substantially as possible, I'm just trying to put that in a layman's language. Thank you.
All right, thank you indeed, Desmond. Now, I had wanted to ask Regina, if there was a way online marketplaces could be protected, for instance, but it's something I'll still ask, but it will be when we return from this time out. Please don't go away. All right, you're welcome back. And if you've just tuned in, you're right on time. The program is Nigeria Today, and we haven't discussed the implications of counterfeiting in Nigeria. We still have our guests from the Anti-Counterfeiting Collaboration very much here with us in the studio and via Zoom. Now, Regina, I had wanted to ask, like I hinted earlier, is there a way that online marketplaces can develop their systems to identify counterfeit goods or even, develop immunity against them?
It's a difficult one because most of these counterfeit products look exactly identical or very similar to the original product.
Okay.
So I believe that one of the ways they can do this is by scrutinizing the owners of the shops, the online shops, to ensure the integrity is there, to ensure that they allow only people that have the capacity to put on genuine products, and to regularly do like a check to ensure that only original and genuine products are put up for sale.
Okay. All right, let me take it to Shola now. I want to know what impact exactly does counterfeiting of online products have on the market, for instance, and possibly on the e-commerce business owners. Shola?
Okay, thank you, Kenneth. If you can hear me, I think you've put this directly into online. But let me first start by let's understand why this problem exists. Maybe if you understand the problem, then you can understand what kind of solutions are better skewed to addressing it. So the major reason why these illicit products, illicit trade or counterfeiting in illicit intellectual property rights exists is because of the economic opportunity it affords those who are engaged in it, the illicit vendors, the smugglers, the counterfeiters, and of course, the consumers. It's an opportunity for them to save money. So there's this thinking that there's an economic benefit to be obtained, and the economic benefit is perceived to outweigh the risk involved. Why do we have this? You've mentioned the internet. With the advent of the internet, it's very easy to do trade. The internet is an enabler for trade in itself. It's a very good tool. But whilst the internet is a great enabler for trade, it comes with this big risk of the ease at which you can also perform illegal activities of goods and certain services. So whilst the world is interconnected by the beautiful tool we have, the internet, this is also a major factor. And this is one key area we've seen that a lot of brand owners are being infringed. If I look at pirates, for example, of piracy work of artists, you find that it's on the internet, it's on social media, it's on all of these platforms that is the easiest to clone and to steal the works of literary, of artists, of writers, of musicians. How easy is it to curtail it? Quite difficult, to be honest with you. But what can brand owners do? A lot of things to protect their their intellectual property. First of all, you need to register your trademark, you need to register your patents, you need to register your artistic work, and you need to register all your general goods and your processes. With registration, at least you give yourself a legal protection. That's the first step. Then secondly, there's a lot of information and education of people in your products. For example, brand owners are known to put marks and all sorts of distinguishing features on their packs, on their products, on their goods, such that they can distinguish them from some of these illicit products. Of course, you would say it's quite easy to also imitate or counterfeit this artifacts or these ornaments we put on products, but that's the first start. We have people who have some, for example, the pharmaceutical companies would have numbers on their products and say when you buy a particular drug or medicine, dial a number or scratch something and authenticate that number to be able to determine if that product you're buying is genuine as opposed to the non-genuine products. So there are varied products, or there are varied ways in which brand owners, artists can distinguish or set aside their products and try and prevent them from being counterfeited. Now, there are also bigger issues which we probably can't discuss in full in this program. There are the issues of weak border controls, the size of our borders, the resources available to our border agencies, the customs, and what have you, in at least preventing all these illicit products coming to the country. We have issues of high taxation. When usually you have goods priced higher in a country and lower in another country, the tendency is for those goods to move from the low tax countries to the higher tax countries where such illicit products can be sold for higher gain. And that's a great motivation for smugglers and illicit products to be moved to other countries. You have sometimes inadequate sanctions. So, for example, if an infringer of an illicit product is caught in Nigeria, what do the laws prescribe for punishment? Are the penalties lightweight? Are they enough to deter and prevent people from repeat performance? These are things which we also need to look into. There are import restrictions and bans. You have the advent of free trade zones. So free trade zones is a very
let's hold you on. Let's hold you on here at the moment because we don't have a lot of time now. I just need to get back. I'll need to get back to Desmond, to Shola really, and be able to get something out of him, Desmond. I mean, now apart from the online scene as it is, how can counterfeiting be tackled generally? Is it by legislation or implementation of existing laws, or what, Desmond?
Yes, thank you. This is what we have been working on as ACC. We've recently sponsored Intellectual Property Bill, which we call IPCOM Bill, and we have been pushing for that over the past few years. Of course, the appetite for this from our political leaders is not much because, a lot of it, we found out actually that counterfeiting actually feeds into corruption, feeds into several other things that actually deter, from legitimate things. And so we struggled in this, but we also enjoin everyone to also talk to their lawmakers, to get lawmakers to also look at this. The U.S. Justice Department has been very helpful, as well as the U.S. Consulate. We've had an instance about 3 years ago, where we met at the U.S. Embassy with the leadership of the Senate and the House of Representatives, and as well as the law enforcement. We sat together, to look at this issue. And at that time, too, what we decided at that time was that, look, we were going to push this bill quickly. But even at that, electioneering started, and then everybody just put it aside. So even, it's important because the ease of doing business policy that government is talking about, you can't have that ease of doing business if you don't have fair competition, if you don't have a level playing ground. And so it's important that we also continue to engage government on this. Now, on the online trading, because we talked about online, we've been doing things. There are things that can be done online, apart from just appreciating what's happening online. There are online monitoring agencies like Scouts. So, and a lot of our contemporary have actually employed some of these online monitoring agencies who do takedowns. So they search through the online markets, all those market spaces, and they're able to extract and take down those products.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, Desmond. I'm afraid we don't have a lot of time. I still want to take some 5 seconds with Regina. Consider this your closing remarks. What would your advice be, to consumers of online products or business owners on how they can avoid counterfeits and counterfeiters?
I would say that they should take their intellectual property protection mechanism seriously.
And how do they do this?
there are different categories of intellectual property rights. There's a trademark, there's a patent, there's industrial design, and there's copyright. So for anyone, any aspect, any category that your IP right falls into, take steps, proactive steps, ensure that if you have an invention, that you have a grant from the Patent and Designs Registry. If you have a trademark, you have it registered with the Trademarks Registry, and if you have created a work that is what copyright, you have it notified. You have the Copyright Commission notified.
All right. Thank you very much indeed. Well, that's how far we can go on this edition of Nigeria Today, I'm afraid. We have been speaking with Regina Onwumere, the anti-counterfeiting collaboration representative and senior advocate at Lukwando Yebode. Equal measure of gratitude must also go to Desmond Adiola, chairman, anti-counterfeiting collaboration ACC Nigeria, and Shola Dosumu, member of the board of anti-counterfeiting collaboration ACC Nigeria. You all have been indeed fantastic. Now, Nigeria Today is live every weekday at 7:30 in the evening on NTA News 24, and you can watch this and other editions on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. My name is Victor Azo. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.
Enjoy all the matches live on Star Times for only 1,700 naira monthly or 160 naira per day. Recharge